Oh, okay. Oh, what's up, guys? Yeah, no, Birds of Prey. Oh, it's a ton of fun. It's just, it's exhausting. Oh my gosh. I'm just gonna catch my breath a little bit. Hold on. What's going on, you guys? James here with another real review, and today we're talking all about Birds of Prey, the latest DC film to hit theaters, and trust me, it's a lot of fun. But before I dive into everything I liked and everything that didn't really work in this film, if this is your first time here at the channel, welcome to Real James. Now if you're wondering who that is, that's me, and I love talking all about movies. So I drop a new video each and every day. Yeah, you're not gonna wanna miss out, so go ahead and hit that big red button below, subscribe to the channel, and tap on the little bell right next to it just to stay up to date with everything new that I drop. Go ahead and like this video, share it with all of your friends, and guys, I'm loving all the comments below in each and every one of my videos. So in this one, just let me know, did you like Birds of Prey? And really, is Margot Robbie probably the best thing to happen to the DC Extended Universe? If you missed out on everything we've been doing this week, you're gonna wanna go back and check out my 2020 Oscars predictions. The link to that can be found in the description below. Alrighty guys, now let's go ahead and dive right into Birds of Prey, but before that, can I get a drink of water? Because I'm not even lying, y'all, I'm a little exhausted, my goodness. Birds of Prey is directed by Cathy Yan and stars Margot Robbie again as Harley Quinn. She gets into deep trouble after Gotham City realizes that her and the Joker are no longer. A young girl named Cassandra Cain, who pickpockets anyone and everything, unfortunately steals a very rare diamond from one of the biggest mobsters in Gotham City, Roman Sionis. So Harley Quinn decides to hunt down this girl, get the diamond back, basically to save her own skin from Roman, and throughout the journey she realizes this young girl doesn't need to be killed, and she definitely doesn't need to be turned over to Roman. Instead, Harley wants to team up with a ton of awesome women, I'm not gonna curse, to take down the vile men who want them dead and are ruining Gotham City. Okay, so let's start off with what actually worked in this film. And let me tell you guys, Birds of Prey is full of high-octane action. There's wonderful hand-to-hand combat sequences, and there are also other action scenes that blew my mind. I honestly don't know how director Cathy Yan shot these moments. I mean, there's a carnival scene where you're going down that slide where it's an enclosed tube, and Mary Elizabeth Winstead is kicking a ton of butt. And then there are these awesome rollerblade sequences where, I don't know, Harley Quinn's being whipped into another car to go and try and rescue this young girl. It's fantastic stuff, and I think it really just adds to the movie, which is a fun comic book film, strictly by the definition. All of the aesthetics and the colors in this film, I'm just in love with everything. The neon pinks, the greens, the zany attitudes by each and every one of our cast members. It's crazy good. And then there are these on-screen graphics that are pretty much a running joke for the film, and it just adds to the humor that I thought really fit for the film. Director Cathy Yan really does understand the source material for Birds of Prey and Harley Quinn, so it just adds to the film. I mean, if it wasn't for director Cathy Yan taking the time to just dive into the mind of a Harley Quinn, I think this film would have been a little bit more generic, and I'm so glad her and the studio pushed for an R-rated film, because I'm sorry, Birds of Prey does not work as a PG-13 movie. If it tried to be put into that little corner, I think we would have gotten Suicide Squad Part 2, and that would have kind of sucked. It's awesome that Margot Robbie goes and just has a ton of fun in this role. Her as Harley Quinn is perfect. She was the best thing about Suicide Squad, and I'm really glad they gave her a solo-ish kind of film here. The movie does pretty much everything with Harley Quinn as a character, gives her awesome action sequences, gives her a human element, and also allows her to narrate both the past and the present scenes, because there's a lot of flashbacks thanks to the introductions we get for each and every character. Some worked and, well, some didn't, but for the most part, each introduction for these characters really just added to the film's identity, and it works so well. But there are some standouts here. So you have Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn, Ewan McGregor as the very fun Roman Sionis, who, if we can talk about him for a little bit, he just works in this incredibly weird, off-the-wall world. His performance is awesome because it's both very controlled and grounded, and then it goes to 1,000. He's just so good. He's funny and a little disturbing, actually very disturbing. Oh boy. But him and Margot Robbie just play off each other very, very well. Let's continue with the standouts. You have Jurnee Smollett-Bell as Dinah Lance, or Black Canary, and man, she's just, for me, my favorite in the film. I get it, it's a Harley Quinn movie, but Black Canary had so much character, her arc was awesome, and there's so much of a layered approach with her acting that Jurnee Smollett-Bell really just hits it on the money for me. I mean, overall, the supporting cast is incredibly strong, and that's saying something when it's a movie that is marketed as a Harley Quinn film. And it's also one area that I was worried they might not pay a lot of love to, which is the supporting cast, everyone outside of Margot Robbie, but they do, and I absolutely love it. Really, Birds of Prey works because it's a no-holds-barred comic book film. It doesn't try to stray from that identity. It doesn't try to be a serious movie. It's stupid, it's fun, it shouldn't work, but it does. And that's really the identity and the MO for this film. So you're gonna go in and hopefully not expect a serious movie like The Dark Knight. You're getting something incredibly crazy, and it just works. It really does. Now, this last positive is something that I actually think the film does best, and that's the female empowerment message. It doesn't try to be obvious, it's really not unnatural, and a lot of movies fail in this regard because it's so on the nose. But in Birds of Prey, you get this female empowerment message without it slapping you over the head with it. Man, Cathy Yan really just knew how to direct this film and basically give you the message she wanted to give you, which is female superheroes are awesome too. And they might work better together than the male superheroes. Just saying. Unfortunately though, Birds of Prey isn't a perfect film, and there are some things in this movie that I really feel hold it back from being one of the better comic book films I've seen in the last, 5 years or so. The first thing I thought of when the end credits ran is that, wow, this movie's 90% action and it's 10% story. The problem is, the 10% of the story we get feels like it drags a little bit. When the movie tries to dive into the plot, it weighs the film down. We get a lot of a grounded story with Montoya, for example, this failed Gotham City Police Department officer, and it didn't really work too well. I'll talk more about her performance later, but the movie itself tries to get into the layers of the story, and for me, it didn't really work too well. There's also not enough of Mary Elizabeth Winstead as Huntress. Sure, they give her enough of a backstory, but she's given the chance to really flesh out this character in one scene right at the end of the film. And then I thought to myself, why didn't we get more of this awkward, funny character? And it's not because Mary Elizabeth Winstead can't act. It's just that the movie doesn't give her enough time, and that's probably where we find the issue with giving each supporting cast member equal amounts of screen time. Unfortunately, Huntress gets the short end of the stick. And then there are just some performances that don't really work for me, and I kind of felt were out of place. I'm gonna give Ella J. Bosco a little bit of a, pass, but there are some things to talk about with her performance as Cassandra Cain. Yes, she's a child actor, and yeah, she's not on the stature of Margot Robbie and everybody else, but come on, felt a little unnatural, unfortunately, so it kind of pulled the movie back and brought it to reality when I was stuck in this awesome, crazy world of Harley Quinn. And there are also a few other weak links, and that includes Rosie Perez as Montoya, like I just mentioned, a failed Gotham City police officer, and yeah, she just wasn't very good. I think the New York accent was laid on a little thick. I don't know, maybe that is her accent. If it's not, you can tell because it didn't really fit too well with the rest of the film. And that also applies to Chris Messina as Victor, who's Roman Sionis' right-hand man. He's the one who does all the cutting. He's got all the scars on his face. He's a bad guy, but that's about it. I mean, I can't tell you that his performance really blew me away, and he's given a ton of screen time too. I hate to say it, but I think that he's more of a generic character in this film, and I really wish they would have maybe cut half of his screen time out and given the rest to Huntress. I can also see how some people would be turned off by the 10,000 things happening on screen at once. You have Harley Quinn story, then you have the Birds of Prey story, then you have Roman's story, then it tries to dive into the Joker storyline. Yeah, it can get overwhelming, and a lot of people left our theater and our press screening saying this was exhausting. And yeah, it is exhausting. It's a race. You have to keep up with everybody, and especially the plot. But I didn't mind it, actually. I just can understand why some people might feel a little turned off by it. But overall, Birds of Prey really is fun and incredibly zany. If anything, it might be the most fun I've had in a DC film, well, maybe ever. It's also the most comic book film by the most strict definition that I think we've ever gotten in this DC universe. Margot Robbie absolutely crushes it as Harley Quinn, I mean, as we expected, but director Cathy Yan gets it. She understands the source material, and the movie is so much better because of it. Yeah, it's got story issues, and yeah, the supporting cast might not be convincing all of the time, but the movie's worth your time, and it's incredibly worth you sitting down, strapping in, and just going on this amazing roller coaster of a ride with Harley Quinn and her Birds of Prey, and watching these women just kick a ton of butt. Alrighty, you guys, so that's my review of Birds of Prey, a top-tier DC Extended Universe film. If you enjoyed everything you just heard and saw, go ahead and hit the big red button below and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to tap on the bell right next to it just to stay up to date with anything new that I drop. And like this video, share it with your friends. Also in the comments below, don't forget, let me know what you think of this film. This weekend is the Oscars, so you're gonna get some more content from me on that front. And we got something to talk about with the MCU. A very big development. Stay tuned for all that and more, you guys. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you at the next screening.